Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey with investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video we're going to be looking at the Nextbridge Hydrocarbons 10K and how they're going to keep up with the fight for resolution. We're also going to be looking at ticker symbol SERV, which had a tremendous run today and was also called in the Discord. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So we can see first of all here, headline from Bloomberg that the Magnificent Seven stocks are extending the week's rout, potentially down 5% overall, and the market is taking a huge hit, especially when it comes to tech stocks, and the S&P 500 is also heading downwards for its first week since April. We can also see here from CNBC the Dow Jones is down 400 points. S&P is also heading for its worst week in 3 months, so not great news here for the markets. And we also saw some negative news with regard to Crowd and Microsoft, and we can see here from Unusual Wales that there was a global cyber outage, and the stock CRWD was obviously causing huge global IT problems across the world, affecting not only the US but also international airlines, banks and media outlets. I believe they do say it is now resolved. So let's now have a look at news with regard to SERV. So this is a stock that was called in the Discord, and we also called a number of other stocks, and I know a number of members did make some great returns on that, and we can see right now at time of editing it's up in excess of 202% at $7.95. So in terms of the news here in terms of SERV, there was a significant stake disclosed from NVDIA leading to this surge in the share price. Let's now have a look at details of the 10K released by Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, and what I posted here is the company released the 10K for the period ending December 2023. So the company has stated there are no significant changes, but in terms of one of the updates that I have shared in the post is that in terms of current projects as of December the 31st 2023, the company have interest in 3 oil and natural gas projects. These include the Rio Grande project, the Hazel project and the Oklahoma properties, and additionally they inquired interest in certain Louisiana projects in March 2024. So I'm going to have a look at this 10K in terms of other changes that we can pick up. So we know it's for the period December the 31st 2023, and if we move on to the section here under the explanatory note, we can see obviously for that it is confirmed for that period. And now if we move on to have a look at the section in terms of the overview, we can see they were incorporated August 31st 2021. We remember they were previously called Oilco, now or known as Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, and then obviously confirming previously spun off from Meta Materials, and now they are a fully independent company with no direct links whatsoever to Meta Materials. So in terms of the company, they're an energy company, and they're looking at acquisition, exploration and exploitation and development of oil and natural gas properties in the US. So they operate the business through 5 wholly owned subsidiaries, which we know about, and as of December the 31st 2023 they also have interest in 3 oil and natural gas properties, which we have just talked about. And if we look at other significant area aspects that they've also shared, they've also stated here we may not achieve or maintain profitable operations, and therefore may not be able to continue as a going concern. So obviously this is a warning to investors that they basically need cash right now. They've stated here the company have a history of losses, and I have seen that in their accounts. They also have a history of negative cash flow from operation activities, so obviously they are in need of a buyer. They're going to need additional working capital to continue and obviously continue with the planned operations. However, with regard to the year end December 2023, they incurred a loss of just in excess of $37 million and used cash just in excess of $7.3 million for operating activities. So obviously they are using up cash quite significantly. If we move on to look at in terms of strategic relationships upon which they can rely on and are also subject to change, which may diminish their ability to conduct their operations. So they're basically saying in terms of their ability to acquire oil and natural gas assets, to build their reserves and participate in drilling. Obviously they need to enter into commercial agreements with customers and depend on developing and maintaining close working relationships with industry partnerships, and I believe the company are obviously proactive in doing that. They're going to continue in terms of developing the business. They're looking at using their business relationships with regard to management to enter strategic relationships, and this may take the form of joint ventures, or you can also look at other private parties and contractual agreements. So in terms of the acreage, this must be drilled before lease expiration, and in terms of hold the current acreage by production. And they're looking obviously in terms of the market, it is a highly competitive market in terms of acreages, and also a warning here: failure to drill sufficient wells in order to hold the acreage will result in a substantial lease renewal cost, and they don't want to obviously do that, and with also the risk involved of potentially losing the lease. So let's move on to item 5, and this states here in terms of a market for registrations common equity. Now in terms of obviously the shares, they've stated the common shares, as we already know, are not trading on any stock exchange, so they're not a public company. The shares of the common stock are not eligible for DTC, and there is no trading, and they expect no trading for any public to develop as far as they are concerned. So in terms of March 31st 2024, they're looking at just in excess of 251.8 million shares of common stock outstanding, and they're presently in communication with FINRA and the SEC. So this is the important thing, to bring to light the scope of the aggregate uncovered short positions in relation to the common stock. And FINRA have also reported that they estimated the figure that we know about, which is 2.65 million shares. However, what the company is saying is the figure does not include domestic or foreign non-member entities. So that was also shared in a letter from Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, and they stated that they intend to continue with this investigation and hope to uncover more details in the future. So I am hoping that they're uncovering more details in the future, and their intention to continue with the investigation will lead to hopefully resolution with the company and Greg McKay fighting for this. So they stated here their ability to do this may be hindered without the full support of the regulatory bodies. So I'm assuming that will be FINRA and the SEC, as well as help from the broker dealers. But we are in a catch-22 situation here, where the regulatory bodies and the broker dealers probably are not, is probably not in their interest to investigate and share the details, because it could implicate them. So we are looking, that's one of the reasons why the community did obviously approach Congress. And final section I'm going to share with you here is with regard to the recent developments. So they have met the 2022 drilling requirements. They've confirmed that there are at least 5 potential distinct reservoirs under their acreage, so this is positive. The expert operations team have deployed a new mist drilling solution which increased hole stability. Whether these wells may have the potential to produce hydrocarbon or sell commercially in the future, they have no immediate plans to deploy additional capital necessary to sell production from the wells to third parties. And I think one of the reasons why they're not doing that is because of obviously complications with regard to the cost of the lease. So at the moment they are exploring, and I think in terms of the cost of the lease, that may change. So as far as they are now, they're just looking to drill, explore and confirm the oil. So what they've also stated further down in terms of summary of the financial operations, with first of all with regard to the assets and liabilities and the income statement. In terms of the income statement, the net loss was just in excess of 37.5 million, but previously the net loss was just in excess of 81.6 million. So that is a significant improvement, but it's still not good news, because obviously they are still not close to profit. And they've also stated in terms of assets, total assets just in excess of 2.19 million, and their total liabilities just in excess of 49.1 million. So the company certainly need cash right now. So they had a net loss just in excess of 7.9 million, and the net loss just in excess of 81.6 million previously, which we've just looked at. Liabilities just in excess of 31 million. So overall, what the company are looking for is a buyer, cash, and resolution. Next thing I'd like to do is provide an update from Scott, who was also featured in the previous video. He's now stated he's filing a first amended complaint tomorrow, which is going to address some spelling mistakes and other minor errors. So go ahead and check that previous video out, and what Meta News have stated in regard to the 10K that we've just seen. They've stated here that Nextbridge Hydrocarbons are looking at a short sale investigation. The company intends to continue investigating the issues and hopes to uncover more details in the future. And they've also stated, as we've just seen, that they are in communication with FINRA and the SEC. So what Paul has stated, obviously it's perfectly clear that the regulatory authorities are not forthcoming in terms of cooperation. So it is time now to implement more drastic measures for an MMTLP resolution, which I certainly hope will happen. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.